A single container truck rolls through a routine checkpoint, nothing flashy, nothing suspicious, until scanners reveal it's carrying more cigarettes than a small city could smoke in a year. In that moment, the numbers stop being abstract. They become money, power, and crime moving in plain sight. Stay with this story because what looks like a simple border interception quickly unfolds into a hidden economy worth billions, a system that thrives on everyday habits, and an operation that shows how quietly illegal trade can reshape nations. What the Border Management Authority uncovered is only the visible tip of a much deeper network, and the most surprising part is how close it runs to ordinary life. Before we go further, consider this. How many of the products people buy cheaply and casually every day have already crossed at least one illegal line? That single question changes how you see borders, markets, and enforcement forever. The interception itself began like countless others. Officers trained to notice patterns rather than drama focused on inconsistencies, paperwork that looked correct but felt wrong, seals that didn't match shipping histories, routes that made no commercial sense. Nothing screamed crime, everything whispered it. When the containers were opened, thousands of master cases of cigarettes appeared, undeclared and deliberately hidden enough to flood multiple provinces. One sentence lingered in the control room. This was not small scale. Beyond the seized cartons lay a carefully engineered supply chain. These cigarettes were not random leftovers or opportunistic smuggling. They were professionally packaged, brand consistent, and clearly destined for organized distribution. That detail matters because it signals planning, financing, and protection. Illegal trade at this level does not move without confidence. Someone believed this shipment would pass unnoticed. Cigarette smuggling thrives because it feeds on predictability. Taxes rise, prices climb, demand stays steady. Criminal networks exploit the gap with ruthless efficiency. Every intercepted truck represents dozens that made it through before and possibly more already en route. The business model is simple, and that simplicity is its strength: high demand. Low production cost, massive margins. What makes this interception significant is timing. Across the region, enforcement agencies have been tightening border controls, investing in scanning technology, and sharing intelligence. This bust didn't happen in isolation. It reflects a shift from random checks to data-driven targeting. That shift changes the odds, but it also raises the stakes. Smugglers adapt quickly when patterns change. At ground level, officers describe the moment of confirmation as oddly quiet. No chase, no confrontation, just the slow realization that they had interrupted something much bigger than a single truck. Silence can be louder than sirens. Paperwork turns into evidence, cargo becomes a case. The brands seized tell another story. Some were counterfeits, others genuine products diverted from legal channels. That duality is crucial. Smuggling isn't always about fake goods, often it's about real products moving through illegal paths. That distinction blurs public perception and complicates prosecution. The line between legal and illegal trade becomes disturbingly thin. Behind the shipment sits a network of roles: financiers who never touch the goods, logisticians who plan routes, drivers who know just enough, and street-level sellers who absorb the risk. Each layer insulates the one above it. Remove one truck and the system barely flinches. Remove the structure and everything collapses. The economic impact stretches far beyond lost tax revenue. Governments lose funds meant for healthcare and infrastructure. Legitimate businesses struggle to compete with prices that ignore duties and regulations. Communities absorb the cost indirectly, often without realizing the connection. Cheap cigarettes carry expensive consequences. Health officials have long warned that illicit tobacco undermines public health strategies. Lower prices mean higher consumption, especially among young people. Smuggled cigarettes don't just evade tax, they evade regulation, quality control, and accountability. What's inside them is often unknown. That uncertainty multiplies the risk. For the Border Management Authority, this interception became a proof point. Training works, intelligence sharing works, patience works. But it also exposed pressure points, corruption risks, resource gaps, and the sheer scale of the challenge. One success does not mean victory, it means momentum. Exactly halfway through this story, it's worth pausing. If stories like this matter, if understanding hidden systems matters, this is the moment viewers usually decide whether to stay engaged or scroll away. Attention is the real border. And it's either protected or breached. As investigations deepened, analysts traced links between the shipment and previous seizures. Patterns emerged: similar routes, similar concealment methods, similar paperwork errors. Smuggling leaves fingerprints even when criminals believe they're invisible. Over time, those fingerprints form a map. One overlooked mistake smugglers often make is assuming technology can be bribed. Machines don't get tired, they don't accept favors. Data analysis doesn't care who you know. That quiet shift from human judgment alone to human judgment supported by systems has become enforcement's most powerful weapon. Still, enforcement faces an uncomfortable truth. Borders are long, trade volumes are massive, and resources are finite. Authorities must choose where to look. Smugglers bet on being the ones not chosen. This interception shows what happens when that bet fails. There is also a regional dimension. Illicit tobacco doesn't respect national boundaries. What is seized in one country was likely financed in another and destined for several more. Cooperation becomes non-negotiable. Isolation is exactly what criminal networks hope for. Public reaction to the bust was swift but shallow. Headlines flared, then faded. Yet the real story continues long after news cycles move on. Court cases take years, networks reorganize, new routes appear. The game never stops, only the rules change. Experts point out a paradox. Every successful interception increases the value of future smuggling attempts. Scarcity raises prices, risk justifies higher margins. Enforcement success can unintentionally make the business more attractive. That tension sits at the heart of border security. Technology will keep evolving. Smugglers already experiment with smaller shipments, decentralized loads, and digital coordination. The days of single massive consignments may be numbered. Adaptation is constant, so is the contest. In the end, this interception is not a finish line. It's a snapshot of a moving battle, a moment where preparation met opportunity and won. But the deeper lesson is about systems, how illegal economies mirror legal ones, how demand drives supply, and how vigilance must be continuous. What remains after the truck is impounded and the cartons are counted is a choice. See this as an isolated win or as evidence of a much larger, ongoing struggle that touches health, economics, and governance at once. Borders are not just lines on maps, they are pressure points. This story closes where it began, with something that looked ordinary until it was. A truck, a checkpoint, a decision to look closer. Sometimes that's all it takes to expose an entire hidden world.